All right, that, my friends, is what we call a very, very good win and a very impressive series win after losing on Friday. But this Sunday game was really impressive. 18 consecutive batters retired at one point, trailing 2-0, kind of left for dead. Jackson Merrill returns. He sparks the offense. The terrific defensive play started by Merrill, who was also robbed of a home run in this game. And then Jose Iglesias, timely pinch hitting, came through, and then came through at the fielder's choice in the ninth inning that scored the winning run as the Padres beat the Royals. They win the series. It was impressive. So make your way in. Let's talk about it, as the Nats will be here for 3 games at Petco Park coming up. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. Follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. As you know, we'll get to all the super chats. We appreciate your support of this channel. We really do. If you want to see your comment on screen, if you want to support our work, click the $ below the chat box. We'll get to all of your supers here tonight. If you want to become a member, you can click that join button down below. We said Friday, there were some comments Friday I saw on YouTube that said, oh, it's always just one game. It's never time to panic. I'm like, well, A, you've never listened to this channel. And then secondly, it was only one game. And they won the series, which was the goal, I think, heading into these 3 games. And I thought it was impressive. I mean, they easily could have lost the series based on today. Seth Lugo was absolutely terrific. But the Padres find a way to win here today, Jim, 3-2, and take the series from the Royals.
Yeah, I think when people listen to us sometimes that may not have listened to us before, they think that sometimes how we speak after a loss is we're like throwing in the towel on this team, or we're DEFCON 1, or we're, completely just like season's over. Like, no, that's not the case. We said that it was a bad start to the 22-game stretch that we talked about how important it was. But if they win the next 2 days and they win the series, that's the main thing. And what they do, they played a great game on Saturday. Yep. And then today, Randy Vasquez pitched really well. The return of Jackson Merrill. I know we'll talk about the lineup change here. And they just scrapped their way to a 3-2 win. Jose Iglesias, one of the others, finally, doing what he was brought here to do. Like, hey, can you have a couple games where you play big time and coming off the bench? Like, he played a really, really good game today as far as driving all 3 runs. Like, that's what this team has been missing is not from, hey, we need Manny tonight, we need Gavin Sheets, we need like, can the others produce, and can it create wins? And that's what happened tonight. And without the amazing defense there in the 9th, maybe they don't win the game. I don't know, but overall, great series win. I move on to Washington, and once again, you're back in the same boat. Another series you have to win.
Think about this. Iglesias doesn't come into the game until the 7th inning with 2 outs. Mm-hmm. And he makes 3 massive plays.
Massive plays.
Massive. Obviously, the single, by the way, is an 0-2 pitch. I didn't think it was a good pitch. 97-mile-per-hour fastball, middle away, 0-2, that he just took to right field, right, to tie the score. The relay on the Merrill throw was incredibly impressive. It was just a kind of chuck and turn throw.
Yeah.
Good. Everyone did well. I mean, from Merrill to Iglesias to the play at the plate, everyone did well in the play. Cut down the go-ahead run. That was massive. And then it's not, it's easy to pretend like, hey, second and third one out, you're going to win the game. Oftentimes you don't. I mean, you have to come through. There's strikeouts in that spot. You could pop out. You could ground out with the infield drawn in. And he just did enough to score the winning run, which was Luis Ariz. By the way, Xander Bogarts, a massive moment in this game in the 9th inning, that double. Xander Bogarts has completely resurrected his season. He just has. I mean, he's 11 for 19 in his last 5 games. That's incredibly impressive. He looks like a different player. Doesn't mean it carries over, but what he's done in the last 5 games is a big reason why the Padres have won a couple of these games. So like, think about that. Merrill was huge. And like you said, the lineup change, batting him second. He came through against Lugo to start the 7th inning. I don't think they're winning the game if Merrill doesn't deliver there to start the 7th inning. I mean, Lugo was cruising. He only threw 90 pitches with that starting the 7th inning. So between Merrill and Iglesias, I'm glad you mentioned Vasquez because I didn't off the top. I think it might have been a career high or season high 7 innings from Vasquez. He worked out of traffic early in this game. So it was a real team effort. I mean, very losable game that they won, which is the mark of a team that hopefully is a good one. And I was impressed and encouraged by what we saw here this afternoon.
His ERA this year, Randy Vasquez, is 3.6.
That's amazing.
Okay. What? He's never gonna just strike out a bunch of people. His whip's still kind of fairly high, 1 6.33. He's only got 45 strikeouts and 80 innings pitched this year. Ratio. You don't see that.
Crazy.
But he's finding a way to get out of jams. He's finding a way to keep the team in the game. He's finding a way to put up zeros on the board and not have, any crazy blowups. And he's doing his job. Nice bounce back day for Jason Adams as well. And you're right. Without that defensive play from Jackson Merrill, the relay to Jose Iglesias, the perfect throw home, maybe they don't win that game. Maybe they don't. But overall, it's nice that the team, the lineup especially, actually looked like, a lineup that you feel good about. Now, scoring runs is another thing. They were held scoreless here until the 7th inning, so it wasn't like they, the lineup put up 7 runs on the board today. But I think going forward, John, Tatis, Merrill, Manny as your 1, 2, 3 probably will be what we'll see going forward here.
I mean, again, they were struggling to score and scuffling by and large for weeks on end. So, and now you add Merrill back, and I understand the justification for doing it. Plus, Arise hits well with men in scoring position and puts bat on ball, which is a big part of it. Right. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think it is what we're going to see. I liked the lineup even when they weren't hitting today. So, you know what? I like the lineup. Now, they went 18 consecutive batters without hit. And I don't even know how many hits they had in this game, day 5. Yeah. I mean, they have very few. Tatis led off with a single. They didn't have another hit until the 7th inning, which was Merrill. And then Iglesias had that big hit. And then, again, they came through a couple of times there in the 9th inning. But, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it feels as if they needed something with this lineup. And I had pushed against it. But that didn't. But I wasn't like anti it. I just thought the players need to perform. I'm more concerned with the play of the team. Jackson Merrill hitting, Xander Bogarts hitting, Jake Cronenworth hitting. Like, that's way more impactful. Bogarts has been hitting. It's not about where he's been batting. He's been hitting. He's not hitting because of where he's batting. Let's keep that in mind. So I'm all for it, but I just want to see this team perform to its capabilities. I've seen Merrill. He can hit. We've seen Arise. He can hit 320. We've seen Xander Bogarts in his career hit, not necessarily in his Padres career. So, again, if these guys perform to their capabilities, hopefully this lineup will be good. It's scuffled for a good portion of the year. And let's see if they can, I don't know, return to the form we saw the first 17 games of the year, maybe here in June and July.
I found it kind of funny seeing, some people on social media who think they know everything about baseball. They were like, finally, Jackson Merrill's in the 2-hole. Like this was some magic elixir that they've been screaming from the top of the mountains to happen. And this was just going to unlock this entire offense. Like, stop capping. Like, it's you move Jackson to the 2-hole. I'm all for it. Like, hey, it's fine.
Yeah, it's exactly.
As long as, Manny's hitting third still. And, I like Tatis in the leadoff spot. I don't think you're going to move him anywhere else in the lineup. But, guys, calm down. Just because, Jackson Merrill got moved to the 2-hole, just don't be acting like, this is going to, make this offense a top 10 offense in baseball. These guys still have to perform. And look, I do like the logic of, all right, Luis Ariz, he never walks. Never. So the idea of having him in the cleanup spot is if you get the guys on in front of him, Merrill, Manny, Tatis, more often than not, Ariz is going to put the ball in play like 95% of the time, and hopefully good things happen. So from that standpoint, it makes sense. But I don't feel like this was like this magic move that people were just like, oh, this team needs to put Ariz in the cleanup spot. Like the guys weren't performing. Like it's calm down.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the other thing. I mean, it'll play no lineup is like, there's no magic lineup for a game. As in any lineup could work for a game. It's what does it do over the course of time? And by the way, the lineup today really wasn't overly impressive in terms of production.
No,
just a couple of hits, just a couple of runs. I mean, they were very fortunate if we watch this game to win here today. It took a pinch hitter. I mean, they bring Iglesias off the bench for Cronenworth. He falls behind to 0-2 and he comes through. So this had less to do with the lineup and more to do with the Iglesias pinch hitting in the 7th inning and then coming through again in the ninth inning. And Merrill was always an important piece of the lineup, no matter where he hits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wherever it is. He's always going to be an important piece of the lineup. Maybe you're new to the channel.
This is not me sounding pessimistic. This is me just like telling everybody to calm down, that this is thinking this is the greatest thing on the planet, that Jackson Merrill's hitting second and Luis Rise is hitting cleanup. Like, the guys still need to perform.
The data. Yeah, they've had all the lineup variations they could possibly want. That front office is crunched through this. So this isn't so. I don't think there was some junior lieutenant that marched into AJ's office like, I figured it out.
Right. The guys still need to perform.
That's not how this works.
And thankfully, they picked up the win today, or else, if they didn't and they only scored like 1 run,
they'd be like,
so much for that offense. But again,
so much for that lineup.
It's a work in progress. And again, welcome to the channel. If you don't like some of the things you hear, sorry, we do not wave our pom-poms like some other people in this town. We tell you how it is.
I will say this. Merrill's return was impressive.
Very.
The double was massive. Again, I stand by. I don't think they win without it.
Should have had a home run.
The ball he hit that was taken back by Caglione was
amazing,
remarkable,
catch.
And he tipped his cap. It was an amazing play by the dude who barely played right, I believe. He made an amazing play. And starting the relay that cut down the go-ahead run in the ninth inning was awfully impressive. He's just a damn good player. The key for Merrill is staying on the field for the remainder of the year, because he's missed way too many games this year. He's missed essentially half of the games the Padres have played to this point. He looked healthy. He was coming off the head injury for a week. He looked healthy, and he looked impactful. So that's what we want to see from Jackson Merrill, because he impacts the game in multiple ways. He's clutch. He's a good fielder. He just helps you win. He is a winning player. I think we've seen that for the better part of these 2 seasons. So his return, we'll get to these supers. By the way, click the $sign below the chat box. We appreciate you. We see the first super of the night. So thank you for your support. I think that came in from Hendrick. We'll get to it momentarily. And please subscribe. We have year-round content for you, as well as we're talking about the Padres series win. We haven't even mentioned Tatis home running, by the way, and we will. But Merrill,
finally,
yeah. I mean, just again, getting Merrill back, Jim. We've talked about the top 4 in this lineup. They've got him. Now it's time to produce. It's time for Tatis to be Tatis. He's still pacing for a nice year, even though it's all dropped off here in terms of power. But time to go put it all together, right? I mean, we're literally at the midway point of the season. Time to go put it all together.
100%. You are now starting the second half of your season, essentially. I know a lot of people look at the after the All-Star break as the second half. Well, they get to the All-Star break and they're like
100,
60, 70 games left, maybe?
Yeah, you're right. I think they've played 100 games by the All-Star break. You said 22 are remaining, so there's 19 games remaining. How many have they played right now? Almost 80?
What are they? 42 and 30.
What's the record?
42 and 35.
Played 77 plus 77. 19. That's 96. They'll only have 66 on the other side.
Yeah. So their second half, second half shill starts right now. And the one thing that we have been harping on for the last week, even through the Dodger series, is the 22 games before the All-Star break, I think right now could make or break their season. There's still time after that if they don't play well in this stretch, but the pressure would be on. So you have to take care of your business at home, because you have so many home games before the break, and it's not going to get any easier on this other side of the break, because you start the second half, with a 10-game road trip right before the trade deadline. And by the way, the 3 games before the trade deadline, you play the Mets and you welcome Juan Soto back to town. And the Mets are really freaking good. So, you need to put your foot on the gas pedal here. And I'm sure they know it. I'm sure they've looked at their schedule and be like, all right, we sucked in that stretch that we just went through, but we're not, in a awful, awful spot. We still feel good, but we need to take advantage of these next 22 days. And so far, so good. You had to get a series win, because they haven't won a series in 2 weeks. So, and I know how much Schilt loves winning series, right? He's like, we're going to rip off 5, 6, 7 series in a row here.
Yeah.
Hope he's right, because that would make their season if they did that.
100%. I mean, it's a great point. I mean, these 19 games coming up, are, they're huge. They are. I completely agree with that. Can they, get 10 games over 500 into the break, somewhere in that neighborhood? That's in front of them right now. Hendrick, thank you for the first super of the night, guys. About 400 of you are here live right now, so please subscribe if you're new to the channel. And thank you for the super chats. We appreciate your support. We'll get to them on screen like this. Just click the $ below the chat box. He says the OMG game 2025, no doubt, with Iglesias. He says, I do think Lugo would look good as a Padre again. Kansas City is very much in it, by the way, in the American League, even with their record. Great win for the team. Now to take on the Nats and then Soto 3. Thank you for the show. I'm intrigued by this national series, truthfully, because it's like the Washington Padres, as we've talked about, and Mackenzie Gore is going to throw in the series. I know they've struggled. I don't know what they did today. I know they beat LA yesterday.
They lost. They got their ass kicked to the point where Dave Roberts used cake. Like, did you see what happened in the Dodger game?
They used Kike Hernandez with the lead.
They were up 13 to like, I don't know. It was at what point in that game? Hold on. Stand by. At one point in that game today, the Dodgers were up 13-3 in the ninth inning. And Dave uses Kike Hernandez again, and then Kike gives up 4 runs, and he has to go back to a reliever.
His bullpen. That's hilarious.
Another clown move.
Don't get too cute, man. I don't even want to talk about it, but don't.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Don't get cute. Just throw a pitcher and win the game.
He's a clown. He's a clown. So yeah, Nationals. They only took 1 game against the Dodgers over the weekend.
Well, that's a lot for them. They lost 11 straight.
Yeah. Tomorrow you're facing the lefty with a 4.59 ERA. So it's even Colks on the mound for the Padres. Look, you got to take advantage of these series because, so far against better teams in baseball, if I'm looking at their record against teams above 500, John, I don't think it's like that great. Yeah, teams above 500, John, they're 18-28. They're 18-28 against teams above 500. So if you're not going to take care of business against teams under 500, that could spell trouble for this team.
Well, they've also, so they lost 11 straight. They beat the Rockies, lost to the Dodgers 2 of 3. So they're 1-13. But plus 2 win. The Rockies win the Dodgers. They're 2-13 in their last 15. Prior to that, they had been half decent, but that's like other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Right. They do have a James Wood pacing for a 45 home run season. Okay, that is a factual statement. But they also are 2-13 in their last 15. I'm not typically the one to call for a sweep. I won't do it here, but you have to win this series. And if they win the first game, I will call for a sweep. But you have to win this series. I don't think this is some pathetic also ran. They're not. I think there is talent clearly. I'll call for a series win as a necessity, but they win tomorrow, Jim, and I'm going to say you have to sweep the Nationals.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I don't like pay attention to the Nationals, but I'm pretty sure their pitching is awful. But I mean, they got some. They do have some pop in that lineup. Like obviously James Wood, CJ Abrams on the road this year is really good. Yeah, I mean. It's funny, actually. Besides the 2 former Padres, their lineup kind of doesn't really do much for me. But hey, got to take care of business, man. Got to take care of business. Got to take care of business. Because if you don't, that's just
you can't go 3-3 on this homestand because you're 2-1. So you go 1-2 here. You're 3-3. Like
nothing less than 4-2.
Nothing less than 4-2, and 5-1 would just be spectacular to get to the road with that. And that's right in front of him, by the way. It really is with Washington coming here.
It really is.
Every so often, thank you. He says, love seeing Merrill make great contact every at bat. He looks like he's having fun, and he realized he was good last year as it warmed up late June, July. I mean, I was impressed by Merrill, again, as much time as he's missed, to take a week off and to step in and be so impactful. They move him in the lineup. He comes through in clutch situations. That's just who Jackson Merrill has been. Like, I don't think he's going to wow national baseball fan. Like, his numbers aren't going to pop off pages. You're not going to say Jackson Merrill's hitting 40 home runs or has a 1,000 OPS, right? He's never going to have these. He's never going to steal 60 bases in a year, but he's going to do everything well. And I do think he's got a knack for clutch hitting. We've definitely said that in his career. He's been clutch. He's come through in big spots. So that's just, to me, who Jackson Merrill is. Like a gamer. I know that's cliche. He's clutch. I think that's accurate. And again, is he ever going to win MVP? We're getting way ahead of ourselves. Probably not. But he's just a damn good player.
Well, he eats, breathes, and sleeps baseball. So it's not surprising that the second he comes off the injured list, he goes right back into looking like Jackson Merrill. You know, putting together two good at bats, hitting the ball hard. That was an incredible catch, by the way. That robbery of Jackson Merrill's home run. I mean, it wasn't just like he jumped straight up and he caught the ball. He went over his back. I mean, that was a clear home run robbery right there. And
I thought that was gone.
Oh, I thought that was a bad omen for the rest of the day. I was like, oh, definitely shit.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that, Jackson Merrill is back, is healthy. The team just looks completely different with him out there in the lineup. And I am excited to see what the move to second does for the lineup. If it unlocks something, or if it's just like the same old, what we've seen the last 2 months, essentially. So I do, the one thing I do like, and I'm not going to say, oh, finally they put Jackson Merrill in the 2-hole. Like, okay. But I do like the awareness of like, you know what? We need to maybe switch some things up here. And to do it now and not wait any longer, realizing that this offense has been pretty bad the last 2 months, to just say, screw it, let's make this move, let's try something different. I like that. I do like that a lot, that the mindset is we're not going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. Let's switch this up and see what it does for us. And there's no harm, no foul moving Jackson at the 2-hole and Arise to the cleanup spot.
No, I completely agree. And it was time, probably. So let's see if it pays dividends or not. Moving forward, we're going to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr. and much more coming up, plus some injury updates. And Xander Bogarts, who has been just incredible over these last 5+ games. We do want to thank our title sponsor here on the Wrap-Up Show, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. He has been so terrific to this channel over the years. And if you support this channel, please support our title sponsor, the Wrap-Up Show, Mark Nimitz, by clicking the link in the description down below to get free quotes online. You're looking at his website right now. You can call Mark. He will talk to you about the Padres. He's a diehard fan. He'll talk to you about saving money on insurance as well. I've got homeowners and earthquake and life insurance policies through Mark. He also does auto and any insurance you need. He's going to be able to take care of you. And before you renew with your current insurance agent, get in contact with Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance. If you ever need him, trust me, he will be there for you. He's got great service and communication. So if you support the channel, he's a diehard Padres fan. He's a native San Diegan. He's been with us for 4 years on YouTube. Think about that. He's been with us for 4 years on YouTube. So if you support this channel, please support our title sponsor. Click that link in the description down below for Mark.
Yep, all his information is on that ticker, Nimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the Wrap-Up Show sent you.
We get back to the super check. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say real quick. Also, talking about Schulte and, time to switch things up. Like, things aren't working. Like, let's just try something new here. The Iglesias pinch hit today. I think was I think that, and I didn't even see this. Yeah. I think that was a huge step forward in like understanding his team better, instead of just continuing to give guys opportunities because they're his guys, and making some maybe tough decisions. Like, hey, lefty on the mound, Jake's up. Don't fall to be a victim of, well, Crony's our guy. Like, no, go with the better matchup. I don't care who's getting paid more. Obviously, Jake Cronenworth is, but you know who's better against left-handed pitching? It's Jose Iglesias. So make the move. I don't care how much the dude's getting paid. You have a better matchup here on your bench. Make that move. And he has not made that move enough times this year with a lefty on the mound and Jake at the plate. So I do applaud him for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was just looking up the splits for Jake this year, because Jake's been effective this year overall, but he has really struggled again against left-handed pitching. He's hitting under 200. He's hitting under 200 against left-handed pitching. And by the way, Jose Iglesias, a year ago killed left-handed pitching, and this year's been fine. He's hit like 270 or so. against left-handed pitching. That's the move that must be made. Right? You have to make the tactical in-game smart decision. I know the National League has changed with universal DH. You don't see as much pinch hitting. You don't see double switching because it doesn't exist by and large anymore. But you got to be smart in those spots. I completely agree. And to every so often's point, this is Mike Schultz's primary responsibility. He's got a lot of responsibilities. He's got to keep this team together. He's got to point them in the right direction. I think he's been able to do that the last 2 years. But in game, he needs to help them win. And I think he's done by and large a good job at doing that. Whether it's in-game bullpen decisions, by and large, he's good. Tactically, he's good. I don't know if he's the best, but I think he's good. And I think he made the right decision to the point here of both Jim and every so often it says Schultz showed up, pulled Cronenworth against the lefty today. I mean, Cronenworth, we've talked for probably 2 years about him being a platoon player. It's not happening. But if you're not going to platoon Jay Cronenworth, you need to be smart with Jay Cronenworth in late game situations. And that's what Mike Schultz did here today.
If you're ever going to pick a time to start platooning Jake, it's probably right now, just because the numbers show it's not. Jose Iglesias is not like this world beater against lefty this year, but compared to Jake, he is.
Yeah, he's probably about 8 points higher.
Yeah. And so if there's a lefty on the mound, like I think is tomorrow a lefty?
You tell me.
I think it is. Yep, left-hander on the mound. Jose Iglesias needs to start at second. I'm sorry. Right. Jake, you're on the bench. And if the righty comes in from the bullpen, then you make the switch. Right. But, the one thing that I wish Schilt would do more of is actually, put a platoon together for some guys. Basically, I'm talking about Jay Cronenworth. Like he's the guy that you need to platoon, just because that is a true definition of insanity, is letting him go out there against left-handed pitching and nonstop.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. You're right. That's kind of the only platoon that comes to mind today, because Sheets is at the point where he's got to play. No matter who he's facing, Gavin Sheets has been too important for this team. Right. And Cronenworth has put together a solid year, truthfully, but he has not hit left-handed pitching. That's just a factual statement. Like, two things to be true. He's had a nice year, but his year would be a lot better if he wasn't facing left-handed pitching. So I'm with you, and I think that's why Jose Iglesias is here. Again, you think about some of the moves that not all of them have worked out by AJ, but Iglesias is here for a moment like today. Like, he's a bat on ball, hit for average guy. And he came through a couple of times here today. Gavin Sheets, savvy. That has worked out beautifully, obviously, in the first half of the year. So there's been a couple of impactful, additions here. They haven't all worked like 2024, but certainly Sheets and Iglesias, you've seen some of it. We need to see more of it, but we saw some of it here today. All right, choose your own adventure, Jim. Do you want to talk about Bogarts or do you want to talk about Tatis? We're going to talk about both, but where would you like to go? Bogarts or Toddy?
Let's go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Tatis.
He needed that, man. They needed it. He needed it. I needed it. You needed it. 400 viewers needed it. Everyone needed it. The sigh of relief, the moment that he knew he got it, everything just came out of him. The shoulders dropped, like, thank the Lord. And, I don't know what to say. I don't know what it's going to lead to on the other side from a power standpoint. I'd like to think he can get back to form now that he's done that. Rip that single off Lugo to start this game. His numbers are fine. His numbers are solid. He just has really lacked power, obviously. He's gone 20-plus games without a home run. So, Jim, he needed it. The team needed it. It gave him some breathing room, and we'll see what happens now.
You know what I'm most happy about with that home run? Like, obviously, that he got it out of the way, and he finally hit a home run, ending his home run streak. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, there's two things that I loved about it.
Okay.
Number one, it was a 3-run homer.
Right. I agree.
We don't see many of those with the Padres. 3-run homers, those are rare. It's like pulling a rare Pokemon card. It's hard, right? Pulling a rare out, ripping a rare out of any type of card pack. It's like you don't really see it many times. And that was number one. Number two, it was a no-doubter. I didn't want his first home run that broke the streak to be some like wall grazing, because the last homer he hit before that was the shortest home run of his entire career.
It makes sense.
Just
hit the foul pole and right, or was very close to it.
It went into the titty porch, like it just like barely got in. And if you don't know why I called it that,
look it up.
But this thing was a no doubter, and that's the type of home runs that you see from Tatis. They're majestic. They're no doubters. He gets all of it, and that's what I wanted to see with his first home run. Is like, can you just run into one and hit 450 feet? Now this one didn't go 450 feet, but the second off the bat, there was no doubt it was a home run. So those are the two things I loved about it the most. Is that it was a 3-run homer, and it was a no doubter.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And here's the funny thing. Like you always do the what's a player done in their last, 7 or 15 or 30. Right. If you look at the sweet spot of his last 15 games, like he's been fine. He hasn't been like anemic. He's hit 269. I'm adding up his on base and he's just over 800 on base or OPS.
His on base is very impressive. Games. On base is 433 on base in the last 15 games.
He's walking a shit ton.
Yeah.
He is walking a shit ton. It's now, if you can combine the plate discipline, by the way, the idea that it was only the Dodgers that pitch him in is kind of laughable because he could have been hit 5 times in the series. Okay. But that's maybe for later in this conversation, but he's reaching base. If he can start to slug a little bit, combined with his plate discipline, which has been good enough, like there's something in it. Like there's reasons to bet on Tatis moving forward. I mean, obviously, historical reasons because of what he's done in his career, what we saw earlier this year, like in April. But I don't know where to bet with Tatis. I really don't. Again, he's getting on base. He has not hit for power. And I'm just hoping that what happened yesterday, Jim, starts a stretch of 4 home runs in 7 or 8 games. But I don't know if I should be expecting that or not, truthfully. I just don't know.
Have you seen his Baseball Savant page?
I have over the year, but I don't know if I've seen it like today.
Go look at it. Go look at it right now.
Okay, I'm going to look at it right now. Hold on. Don't tell me. Because I'm very fascinated by it. It's very red.
It's a lot of red there. He is fielding, base running, hitting. It's as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. Now, I am of a different belief, unlike other people that, cover the sport of like, well, his numbers might suck, but he's having a great year. Just look at his Baseball Savant page. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Right.
But like the most important thing is like those numbers, I'd rather have a guy be, sometimes, the saying like rather be lucky than good sometimes. I'm not saying that for all the time, but I mean, you're winning games, but because your Baseball Savant page is great. You're winning games because of production, so it's like produce. Now this gives you an indication of just like how he is doing, and maybe if there's this unlucky factor to why he's not putting up the numbers, but at the same time, like, again, nobody at the end of their career has a little asterisk by their seasons on their back of their baseball card, and the asterisk at the bottom reads, well, he was just very unlucky this year.
I completely agree with that. Now, I do recall we had a conversation about Machado right before he took off, and we referenced Baseball Savant. We said, he's 90 percentile everywhere.
Right.
And it hasn't really clicked in terms of power, but he had hit for average, but he might have been in the midst of that. He had that 0 for 15-ish, 0 for 19-ish somewhere in there. But we said, these numbers still look good. I agree with everything you said, but it was almost like a pre-indicator, and then he took off. We've had Xander Bogarts. I don't even know if we've had that conversation about Xander. I think, no, we've had all these conversations about it. We've had every conversation in the world about Xander Bogarts. And we will continue to do that. But I'm with you on the baseball savant stuff. I mean, Tatis has to do it on field. I mean, he's making 340 over whatever, 14 years. He's supposed to be one of the stars of the sport. Nobody cares about his baseball savant. Now, I think his savant will back up his good play if he plays well. You can't have it the other way. You can't have bad play backed up by a good baseball savant page. You can have good play backed up by a good baseball savant page. But I think to your point, at the end of the year, you can't say, well, everything was down, but his savant numbers are really good.
Right.
Okay.
Again, if you want to be that, nerdy, I know more about baseball than you because I read, advanced analytics and blah, 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 blah. Go ahead, go do it. I tend to have a little old school in me where I like to look at the numbers. And if the numbers aren't good, I really don't give a shit at the end of the day if his baseball savant was amazing. So hopefully, everything always lines up, right? Like Manny right now, you can look at his baseball savant and then you look at his numbers, they match. You're like, great savant page, great numbers. Okay, that's awesome. That's what you want to see. But yeah, I do look at Fernando Tatis Jr. and hopefully his home run on Saturday turns into like 5 homers in the next like 15 games or something like that, where he ends the first half with close to 20 bombs. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, I just did it for shits and giggles. And by the way, thank you guys for hanging out. If you're here, please subscribe. And if you're here, thank you for the super chats. We'll get to the one that just rolled in from Zach in a moment. We appreciate you. Just click the $ below the chat box. For shits and giggles, I mean, I looked at Xander.
Right.
And, again, he's had a great 5 games, which I think helps. You've played, 70-something games in the year. I mean, that's a decent, it's like 7 or 8% of your games. His page is fine. I mean, it's got to improve. It's not. I mean, if we would have looked at this a week ago, we would have seen one of the worst hitters in the National League or maybe in Major League Baseball. But some of it is improving. I mean, I know. I mean, the barrel percentage, the hard hit percentage, I know.
Well, where I was going to go with this is before Xander's recent hot streak, which, by the way, awesome. 11 for his last 15. He is raised his batting average and his OPS by like 35, 40 points here in the last,
I think
5 games. But if you noticed, because we listen to Schulte's pressers all the time, and I listened to, the post games and all this other stuff. They were really pumping up. Well, his chase rates, best in his career. His whiff percentage is the best in his career. The K percentage is the best in his whatever. They're pumping up some like random ass savant stats and analytics that they're like, this is one of Xander's better years. And then that really like irks me because, like I said, does any fan want to hear at the end of the day when a guy's hitting 227? Well, his savant page is really good. No, they want it to match. And thankfully, getting to the Xander conversation now, he's put together an amazing 5-game stretch. 5-game stretch since the 9th inning of game 3 in LA, where he hit that game tying double. Probably should have been a go-ahead double. But this is the type of Xander that they signed. I don't think he can keep this up, but defensively, he made an amazing defensive play today, which I'm like, whoa, that's a little
incredible.
We've seen some
spinning play. It was an incredible throw.
We have seen some vintage Xander stuff over the last 5 games, and I just hope it continues.
Well, look at it like this. His slug has gone up from 311 to 392 since game 2 of the Dodgers series. It's gone up since game 2 of the Dodgers series. All right. So just consider that. His batting average has gone up from that game from 227 to 252. And his on base from that game has gone from 304 to 326. So it's actually, let me do this, 22 plus 41. His OPS is up 63 points since game 2 of the Dodgers series. 63 points. Now, there's still work to do. It's under 700, but it's approaching 700. I think it's 678 right now. So he has been vastly improved. He's still not the player we thought the Padres got, but the season isn't over, and we can't go back and get 2023 and 2024 back. And we don't know what 2026 has in store and beyond for Xander Bogarts. All we can say is hopefully he's a better player. You're right. He's not going to be 11 for 19 from here on out. Like, that would be a nice finish to your year.
You think?
So that's not who he's going to be. But if he's an improved player, like a vastly improved player, again, jury's fully out on that. Jury is fully out on that. Then that's significant. I mean, extremely significant for a team that offensively is a very middling team. They're not a good offensive team. They're not horrific. Their power numbers are bad, but they're not a horrific offensive team. But they're a mid-offensive team. They need Xander to look like Boston Xander for 80 games.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit, like, just talking about his recent hot stretch, and all his numbers are just like going up. Like, they're just like a rocket ship, right? I'll go back to 2023 real quick, and then I'll talk about the rest of the season. 2023, we always talk about his September, and everyone's like, he had a great year. And I'm like, no, he didn't. he had an amazing 3-week stretch in September to make all of his numbers look better than they actually really were. Just again, for anybody out there that thinks Xander had a good 2023, look at his numbers on September 1st. That was Xander's season. And they were 10 games out heading into September. But I digress. This year, this is now his opportunity to, like, really make this count and put together just a solid 80 game stretch here. Because this is exactly what happened last year with Manny. At this point last year, Manny was having an awful season. Statistically awful. Well, his baseball savant was great. No, his actual stats were awful. And he put together just an amazing 85 games or so?
Yeah.
I'm not asking for Xander to do that, but can you make these next 80 games be impactful? Can you be a guy at the plate when you come to bat? Everyone doesn't feel like this is an automatic out. And I think the steps he has taken over the last 5 days are definitely needed, and they're great. And you love to see it. This feels like a vintage Xander stretch we're in right now. But eventually, Xander will not be 11 for 15 every time. And when that happens, can he, just be consistent, right? Like, that's what you're looking for from Xander, like consistency.
Right. By the way, he's 11 for his last 19.
Oh, sorry.
You're the one who retweeted it. But I'm glad you mentioned the Machado run. Let me explain. Machado last year, when he called himself out and said, I'll blow out my elbow if I don't figure this out, I'll blow out my elbow again.
Right.
His OPS heading into that game in Philadelphia, June 19th, AKA right now, because it's like June 22nd or whatever. His OPS, June 19th last year, 664. Manny Machado.
Ooh.
His OPS on June 19th, that's why we're calling for his head, 664. Guess what Xander's OPS is right now? Higher than that, 678. And by the way, Manny the next day went up 20 points. It was still 685 a day later. So, I mean, they were having near identical seasons is the point. Xander today, Manny a year ago today. Now, here's the question. Is Xander going to be Manny? Is obviously a huge wishful thought. Nobody thinks he's going to be Manny for the next 80 games, the Manny of 2024. But can he just be Xander? Can he be a good version of Xander? Please. That's what we're asking for.
Like, can you hit
for the next 2 months?
Can you hit 285 for the rest of the season, 290, and can you get to 15 home runs? I mean, that might be asking a lot, but can you get to 15 home runs? And can you give me an OPS in the 800s? I'm not talking like 890, but
you mean 800 from here on out?
From here on out, like if you're taking from Thursday night at Dodger Stadium to the end of the season, if you look at that stretch, can you be like Xander in 80 games or whatever it is? I don't even know.
Yep.
Xander hit 292 with a 340 on base, a 490 slug, 800 OPS with 11 home runs and 45 RBIs. I would consider that to be a great, second half for Xander Bogarts.
Completely. We will get to these supers in a moment. We do want to remind you about one of our partners here on the wrap-up show, our good friends over at SeatGeek. They have a terrific offer for you going on right now. Maybe you want to get to game one of this Nationals series. You can do it and take $20 off by using our promo code for our viewers on the wrap-up show. That's PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, $20 off your ticket order of $50 or more at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more with promo code PODSWRAP. Make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account. You can use it later. We do want to thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Look at this, Jim. Do you find this interesting? I don't know if you can see it on screen. Nationals Padres, you can get in tomorrow from $59. I don't know how easy that is to see on the screen. If you want to see Firefighters Bananas at Petco, it's $235 to get in.
What?
It is. The Savannah Bananas are like the biggest thing to hit baseball.
What?
I mean,
I want to get your thoughts real quick on Savannah Bananas after this, but continue.
Look at this. I mean, you got $500 tickets for the Bananas. We'll touch on that in a second because they're coming to Petco. But Nats Padres, you can get in for $59 tomorrow. I mean, you can sit in the 100 levels tomorrow. You could sit in good seats for under $100 tomorrow at Petco. So get there and use that promo code. But yeah, we thank our friends over at SeatGeek. Whether you want to get Bananas tickets at Petco or Padres tickets at Petco or Breeders' Cup or whatever's coming up in San Diego or elsewhere, make sure to use that promo code PADSWRAP.
And SeatGeek is MLB's official ticket marketplace. Your tickets, they're fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. Just use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP, for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek.
All right, we'll get to the supers in a moment. Let's touch on the Savannah Bananas briefly as well. If you are here, subscribe here on Content for Padres fans. Thank you for the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. You and I think agree on it. To me, it's a little hokey. I give them credit for their success. It's been remarkably successful. It's the Globetrotters of baseball. I think it's for fans with young families. And I think it's for those that want a little more entertainment, like their entertainment dollar to go further. I think if you're a diehard baseball fan, like the people that come here night in, night out, I mean, we're talking about the Padres for hundreds of hours a year on channels like this or John and Jim. I don't know if they're necessarily turning to the Savannah Bananas before their favorite major league team. I don't think they are. But for like the entertainment dollar fan that has a young family that wants a little more like entertainment in the sport of baseball, I think they've kind of captured that essence somehow. And they've hit it's a cliche and it's stupid, but they've hit a complete home run, a 3-run home run, in fact.
Yeah. I would compare it to it feels like Broadway to me, like a Broadway show, but way more goofy, where, back in the day, Wicked's obviously a huge Broadway musical. The Mormon, what was the Mormon
Book of Mormon?
Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon, huge Broadway entertainment. It's hokey. It's weird. I think it's definitely meant for, a younger demographic and kids and sports fans with short attention spans, because what they do, I think some of the things they do are actually pretty cool. The fact that if a foul ball is caught by a fan, that's an out. I think that's pretty cool. Like that's kind of it keeps everybody engaged. It makes sure that everyone brings their glove to the game, that if it's a foul ball your way, you catch it, the guy's out. But what they have morphed into, which I'm kind of like, is all I see of them is through dancing TikToks.
Yeah, like a lot of that.
Like a lot of dancing TikToks. Now again, Petco will be sold out. That's great. I think I watched this 60-minute thing on the Savannah Bananas the other day, and before I watched it, I was like, this is stupid. But after I watch it, I still don't think it's like for me per se. I would go and I definitely would be entertained. But I think their story is incredible. about how they got here, where
I
they're
mean,
like,
he literally bought
yeah,
an independent team and turned them into bigger than any minor league baseball team in the history of baseball. You could argue he's turned it into one of the biggest traveling acts of entertainment in the country.
right.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
selling out major league ballparks everywhere. They sold out Death Valley, Clemson's football stadium, 90,000 people.
I
They're
know.
playing games on ESPN2. So the thing is, it's not my cup of tea, but I credit them, specifically the owner, it's like his complete vision. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. His vision's ridiculous. As someone that worked in minor league baseball, I don't know if you realize that I worked in minor league baseball.
What?
The fact that they're selling out major league baseball stadiums with a team that was an independent wooden bat league team in Savannah, Georgia, is one of the more ridiculous things you could possibly
Mhm.
accomplish. Back
Yeah,
to
it's
the
crazy.
Supers.
It's wild.
It's crazy. It's completely crazy.
Phenomenal.
Zach, thank you, man. I appreciate the patience with the super chat. He says, "Is AJ's first trade coming before July?" If I had a dollar to bet on that, and I do, but I don't know if I can place a wager on that. But if I was betting real money on that, I would bet no, because the days are ticking off. There haven't been a number of trades in June. There was the huge Rafi Devers deal, obviously, but most of these trades are completed in July, and most of them are completed in the second half of July after the All-Star break. So again, if I had money to bet on this, I would say no. I wouldn't guarantee it, but I would, if I was betting one or the other, I'd absolutely say no.
I I don't I don't think it will come before July either. I think they're going to play the stretch out here and see where they're at. I think that these next now what 18 no 19
19.
games. These
Mm-hmm.
next 19 games I think are going to push AJ one way or the other. And actually, I really don't think it's going to push him. I think he's already pot committed on this, don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
But I do think that these next 19 games will definitely be monitored by him as which direction does he feel like this team is going to go. If they play great in these next 19 games, excuse me, he might feel compelled to really push it even more all the way in, right? But if they don't, he might still be compelled. Like, I need to make a move to try to switch things up. But I don't know how aggressive he would be, if you get my point.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, I think he's pot committed, but that doesn't mean that you have to throw all your chips in, if that makes
Right.
sense. He's pot committed. I think if they're
You could call.
really humming, you throw them all in, and if they're
Yeah.
not really humming, you make more educated decisions.
Right.
But they're not selling. I mean, they're not selling. All this, yeah, I know what happens. We do these shows. If they lose tomorrow night to the Nationals, they got to sell. They got to. This is a get rid of King. Like, he's not even healthy, right? Get rid of Cease, and then they
Right.
win the next two against the Nationals. Everyone's like, who are they adding at the deadline? So slow and steady wins this race. The odds of AJ Preller selling are incredibly low. The odds of him buying are incredibly high. To what level in which he's a buyer will be determined based on the play of the team, would be my guess. John, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, bullying works. It's only 5 games. Keep it up. He's talking about Xander. Listen, Xander took it personally. I think the Hosmer Bogarts discussion, Jim. I think he took it personally. I just think he had enough of everything. I think he just said, F it. I'm at rock bottom. What's the worst that's going to happen? Maybe I can actually turn something around. I'm going to worry less and hope more. And he looks confident. He's a confident player right now at the plate. Clearly, he hasn't stumbled into 11 for 19 by accident. He's hit the ball hard. He's got a number of extra base hits over those 5 games as well. Doesn't guarantee the future. We don't know what comes tomorrow, but hopefully he can continue this for an extended period of time.
Baseball to me is one of the most mentally taxing sports that you could play as a professional athlete. Just because of how many times these guys fail in a season. Like, it's incredible how much times these guys fail. If you look at it, it's like, if you're a lifetime 300 hitter, that's like really good. Well, guess what? That means you failed 7 out of 10 times in your career. Like, that's the part where you're like, whoa. I mean, if you're a 30% field goal shooter in basketball, you're awful.
It's a good point.
30%
completion of football, 30% field goal success rate. Yeah. I mean, all these things.
You're awful. You're awful at your sport. But in baseball, succeed 3 out of 10 times, all the times, like you're really good. So
Really
it's just,
good.
it's such a mentally fucked up sport. And I do think that a light switched with Xander in the 9th inning on Thursday against the Dodgers, where it was like, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? I ground out again. I've already been doing that all year long.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
he looks like a completely different player up there. The confidence level is through the roof. He's spraying it all over the field. He's not, he's still grounding out, but like he's not just like pounding it in the dirt at bat after bat after bat after bat to the left side. The confidence is such a huge thing in baseball. And right now Xander has it. And hopefully he can continue to, use that to the rest of the season.
1000%. And we can all cross our fingers and hope that continues beginning tomorrow night. We're going to get back to the super chats and the conversation in a moment. Do want to thank our friends over at Mova Globes. Been with us for the last couple of years. You can take advantage of the 10% off offer by using promo code PWS10 by clicking the link in the description down below. They have these for all 30 teams, by the way. They're officially licensed by Major League Baseball. Terrific products. They really are. They spin automatically with artificial or natural light. They are great gift ideas. This company is based in San Diego. This technology was invented right here in San Diego. So they spin automatically, no cords, no wires, no batteries. Your family will love them. Perfect for a home or work office. And again, the perfect gift idea for the baseball fan in your life. Padres fan, Royals fan, whatever team you root for. These are officially licensed. Pick them up. Use the promo code. Get 10% off. That's PWS10.
Yeah, pick up a Mobile Globe today. You're a Padres fan. Get one of these Mobile Globes for your desk at work, for your desk at home, for a bookshelf, or just for your personal collection of Padres stuff. Pick up a Mobile Globe today. Use our promo code PWS10.
Let's get to some of these super chats. Richard, we appreciate you guys. If you are here, subscribe. And if you're here, thank you for the super chats like this one from Richard. You can just click the $ below the chat box. We appreciate you. He says he's a Dodger fan, a longtime supporter of the channel, though. He says, big Merrill fan, has to stay healthy. Thinking of my nephew, Jordan, on the Carl Vinson, based here in San Diego. He's in the middle of the conflict in the Middle East. We are thinking of him as well. And we are thankful for our troops wherever they are right now around this world. Thank you, Richard, and please give our best to your nephew, Jordan, and please stay safe. Who isn't a big Merrill fan to the baseball side of that super chat? Seriously. I mean, I think if he was on the LA Dodgers, he'd be one of the most popular Dodgers. I think if he was on the Atlanta Braves, so on and so forth. I just think he's a very good player, regardless of who he plays for. Listen, this was a huge pick, obviously, for them, a first-round pick that they developed. This is not something that Preller's done often, developing a position player that's succeeded at the big league level. They've given him the money now. They've extended him out, and he's a big part of their future. Hopefully it works out for both sides, both Merrill and the Padres. But this we know. He's a huge part of their future. He's a huge part of their 2025.
Absolutely. And Richard's one of the good Dodger fans out there. I always harp on Dodger fans for being brain dead and moronic, but Richard's one of the good ones. So I can go both ways. Jackson Merrill, the main thing with him is like, stay healthy, dude. It's all I know it was a fluke injury with his concussion, but you hope that it doesn't turn into more injuries down the line here where it feels like a snake bitten season. If he stays healthy, he's going to put up some numbers, and it's just they might not be like MVP type of numbers that we thought he might be putting up if he didn't get hurt with his hammy. But I still think he could put up a solid ass season where he gets close to 20 home runs, 70 to 80 RBIs, maybe closer to 60 to 70. Hit for a high average, have a solid OPS. Hit a bunch of doubles, play great defense. And that's what they need him to do. They don't need him to be like MVP. They just need him to be that.
Yeah, 45 games played this year, including today, 26 RBIs. So he certainly could get, in the 60s, maybe an outside shot to get higher than that, to your point. And I do think, I agree with you, he could hit 20 home runs. He had one taken away from him today. He's hit just 5, but then again, he's only played 45 games. You do 45 times 4. That's over 160 games, but 5 times 4 would be 20 home runs. He could certainly hit 20 home runs. So he can get hot. We saw it last year. He can really get going in terms of the long ball in a single month. Sunriser, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the generous super chat. If you want to contribute, click the $ below the chat box like Sunriser. He says, I thought we are easy a wild card team. Looks like we're a half game out today. Thoughts, and they are. I just looked it up. They're a half game out as we sit here now. It's only the middle of June. The National League's good. There's about 8 teams right now that are fully in it. I think the Padres are a half game out, to Sunriser's point, but that doesn't concern me, Jim, truthfully. Like, I'm not concerned that the Padres are a half game out. I'm concerned maybe about their offense, what we've seen since the first month of the year. I'm concerned about Michael King or Dylan Cease. I'm not concerned about them being a half game out. Cease, by the way, was really good yesterday. But I'm more concerned about the way the team plays than where they sit in the standings.
100%. I already think this team's a wild card team, and they got to prove it first. I don't think they can beat the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers have their number right now as far as the division goes. So yeah, they're a wild card team in my eyes until, proven otherwise. And because of that, it just makes the path even more difficult, because they're not just competing with one team. Like if they're going for a division with the Dodgers, or even 2, the Giants as well, they are competing against, you look at the National League, John, and tell me right now if you think these teams are going to be in it for the rest of the season. The Mets.
Yeah, they will.
The Giants.
Yeah, they will.
Milwaukee.
Maybe the jury's out on Milwaukee.
St. Louis.
Maybe the jury's out on St. Louis.
Arizona.
They could even be sellers. The jury's certainly out on them.
Cincinnati's 40-38.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to believe that they'll be a wild card team or have a better record than the Padres.
Atlanta.
There's always a chance at Atlanta. What's the record right now?
They are 35-41.
Unlikely, but possible.
Okay, so those are the teams. And then Philly, Chicago, and the Dodgers are division leaders at this moment.
Yeah.
But to me, clearly the East is getting 2 in. Okay. Clearly the National League West is getting 2 in.
Right.
The Central's getting, obviously, 1, because they got.
The question is, do they get 2?
Question is, do they get 2?
Right.
So it ain't gonna be easy, and all these teams are right around each other. I don't look right now at the picture and be like, oh, San Diego's clearly better than all the teams I just mentioned.
No, I agree with that.
Because they have problems of their own with their pitching staff in particular, and their offense hasn't clicked to the point where we thought it would be clicking at this point in the season.
Yeah, we haven't even touched on the most recent dynamic involving Michael King, where he doubled down on saying he will pitch again this year. But Mike Schild also confirmed, this is going back a couple of days, that he's not appearing before the All-Star break. The Darvish story is still one that's been playing out literally over months at this point, over 3 months at this point. As good as guys like Kolek and Berger have been for this team, I don't know if you're going to rely on them to throw as many innings as they need to if those guys aren't healthy in the second half of the year. So, yeah, there's some real question marks. There are some real question marks about this team. Now, this is an interesting point from Dose Mafia that says, I don't even know what this according to, but, maybe they have one of the easier schedules. We've talked about their September. We've talked about this 16 of 22 at home right now. So maybe it's manageable. They still have to take care of it and play well against those opponents, but maybe that's beneficial. But they have real question marks with starting pitching, with this offense. They have real question marks, is what I would say.
Yep, I agree.
All right. I do want to thank our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. This is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. It really, really is. And you can play along right now by using the promo code PADSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. Get a 50% deposit match plus a free gimme pick. What does a free gimme pick look like? Well, let's click on the Padres. Okay. Free gimme pick would look like higher or lower than a half total plate appearance for Fernando Tatis Jr. So he's going to have a plate appearance, so you would win. But let's say Toddy homers tomorrow. Let's put together a play here. Let's do the Padres won the trade play. This probably will backfire. But lower on Wood, lower on Abrams. Who's in the trade? Who else? And then let's say Merrill homers as well.
How much money
If
is that?
happens. What's that?
How much money is that?
At $606 on 4 plays. Now we're going to need home runs from Toddy and Merrill. But it is the mid-Nationals pitching staff. By the way, you flex this, get 3 to 4 right, you can still win big.
Perfect.
So that, yeah, it's as simple and easy it is to play. I mean, you can play across sports, WNBA. You can play across like soccer, whatever it is. You can play across sports. You can play across games. You can play a Padre. You can play a New York Met, so on and so forth. And you can win huge. I mean, you can win up to 500 times your money in a single night. So use that promo code PADSWRAP. Get the 50% deposit match up to $1,000. And make sure to get that free gimme pick as well by using promo code PODSWRAP.
Just getting the QR code above my head. Download Underdog Fantasy. When you download it, you have to use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP.
All right. Join us tomorrow because we'll be back in the air. San Diego Sports 760 at 2 p.m. We'll have Kevin Acey on the show. We'll get you ready for the Padres and the Nationals. We'll see if the Padres can put together another winning series against the Nats. And if they win tomorrow, it's a 3rd consecutive win overall as well. And they'll have the road trip coming up on the other side of this. So we'll see if they can win this series and have a 4-2 or better homestand. And again, Nats, Padres, we'll get you ready beginning at 2 p.m. on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Find our YouTube channel. And then, of course, we'll be back with you tomorrow night for a wrap-up show. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that right now. That's all we ask. Whether you're here live or on replay, please subscribe to this channel. Smash the like button for us. Follow us on X. If you're here on replay, thank you for the super thanks as well. We appreciate your support of the channel. Padres win. Walk off, in fact, 3-2 over the Royals. We'll be back tomorrow night getting you ready for Padres and Nationals. And we do want to thank our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, Hamul Casino, Mova Globes, SeatGeek, and Underdog Fantasy. Appreciate you guys. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the wrap-up show. Thanks.
Bye-bye.